And in order to kind of paint a picture of this, I'll tell you a story about Father Ned Weiss. So literally grew up at St. Charles. I'm a little whippersnapper server, right? And one of the highlights was serving weddings at St. Charles. And I'd like to tell you that it was the marriage, it was the prayer and the holiness. I'd like to tell you that it was like being around such a holy, saintly man, yes? No, it was really all about the $5, right? Back then, $5 was a lot of money, so you got $5 to serve a wedding. But anyhow, I don't know if Father Weiss, you want me to tell you this or not, but you had the habit of repeating your wedding homily, okay? And the homily was this, I can tell you this, I probably heard it about 1,000 times, right? And he talked about like a helicopter taking off, and the higher the helicopter goes, and this is just how brilliant he is, right? Long before drones, right? And all the satellites, he kept talking about the higher the helicopter goes. Am I doing okay on this story? Right?
You're getting there.
Kind of like the bigger view that you get. So my first visual of the fest, to tell you a little bit about the fest, is this is the higher view of the fest. And that's a picture taken about 3 o'clock last year in the main field. There are 3 fields that the fest utilizes for its activities. So you can see, I mean, if you want to get really good, you'll take a magnifying glass and start counting heads. And last year there was about 45,000 people that came to the fest. We say that the fest is a day of faith, it's a day of family, it's a day of fun, and it's all for, see, they know this, right? It's a day of faith, family, and fun, and it's all for free. And it is in its 17th year. And I'll tell you a little story about the brat truck, okay? Laugh and joke, but this is how we measure the event, right? So we have the world's largest grill that comes and serves Johnsonville brats. Very wonderful. Not nearly as good as your lunch today, right? Anyhow, when the Johnsonville brat grill pulls in to a NASCAR event, which starts on Thursday evening, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, over the course of the whole weekend, that truck, if they're lucky, will serve about 2,000 brats. Okay? That's good. It's a full day's work, yes? In 6 hours at the fest, it does 3,000 brats. Gives you a little metric. So back in 2000, we created an event called Home from Rome. Much smaller than the fest is today, much simpler, very, very, very easy to do. It had about 1,300 people at it, and at that point, everybody was like, wow, this is amazing, this is huge, this is big, this is unfathomable. Well, honestly, that's nothing 17 years later, right? But that really was the initiator. And again, the idea behind it was how do we create an experience that is vibrant, that is alive, that is bright, that is colorful, that is engaging for young people of what it means to be church. Also, from the very get-go, one of the things very, very clearly but very subtly planted in the whole thing we call the fest is very much what I would call the key ingredients of our Catholic faith. So clearly, ending the day with Mass is as Catholic as it can be, yes or yes? Right. But also packed into this day has always been a very strong pro-life message. So this year, again, not only because the theme is a full life, but there's always been an area that's dedicated to promoting all the life issues. There's always been a justice message. So as Greg mentioned, we started this greater than heroin piece, right? Every year there's always been something that takes the social justice teaching of the church and tries to unpack that. In addition, while I mentioned those themes a few minutes ago, there are all kinds of activities, and not activities just to keep people entertained, activities with a purpose. So if you walk through the children's area, you'll find this year that there's probably 15, is there 15? Around 15, right? Different tents that will take this message, I've come that you may have life and have it more abundantly or have it to the full. And through various crafts and activities, the young people that will walk through that area will spend hours getting that promise of God, that gospel message planted deep into their heart. In addition, a key part of our Catholic faith has always been gathering the people. So consciously, we work to gather the people so that people come and bump into each other. They have a chance to introduce themselves to each other. The other piece of our Catholic faith is that sense of welcome. And so you'll see, and again, if you've come to the fest, and if you haven't, if you talk to anybody that's been, there's a very particular, unique spirit on the fest field that day. And part of it is, I think, a gracious sense of hospitality and welcome. The other thing that we work really, really hard at the fest every year is to consciously keep the thing growing. I said from the beginning, if all we were doing was an annual event for the sake of an annual event, honestly, God knows I don't need another event to do. I really don't. But purposely, we work hard to keep this thing growing because in our time, it's really important that in bright colors, we show our church alive and growing and strong. So that, long story short, is the fest. And the theme for this year is a full life, because every single day, God calls each of us to a fuller, deeper faith, hope, love in Jesus Christ. And the more we continue to open our hearts and hear God's call, give, share, work, the more we do that almost to the point of exhaustion, the more we will find a fuller joy, a greater love, and a fullness of life in Jesus Christ. That's also the heart of the new evangelization. That's what John Paul II literally radiated for all of us. And it is in his spirit, at his initiation, that back in 2000, we started Home from Rome, to which 17 years later is now known as the Fest. Amen.